Welcome to Metal Minutia. I'm Ray. I'm here with Phil.
Hello.
And also here with Ed from Aardvark.
Hello.
Good to have you.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Excellent.
We've been talking too much before we started recording, so now...
So now we have nothing to say.
Yeah.
We've gotten through all the topics. Right?
Yeah.
So it was great being here anyway.
End of episode. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
What's happening in your... What have you been listening to lately?
Listening to?
Yeah.
Good question. I've been... We sort of spoke to this a little bit before this, but I've actually been listening to a lot of jazz fusion sort of stuff lately, like Pat Metheny and stuff along those lines.
It's very Derek Smalls of you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, ironically, I also get trapped in cocoons and can't get out, but, you know.
Yeah.
No.
We had to pull him out of a cocoon when he was in the elevator on the way up here.
Yeah.
I went and saw this local power pop band called Leatherman last night and got their new record.
Nice.
Awesome.
Which I've been listening to a bit, and that's really cool. It's got this really... They're very like Thin Lizzy.
Their bassist has a very cool 4003.
Yeah. Of course you would.
What colour is it, Ray?
It's the Jet Glow. It's
Excellent.
like, with a white pickguard. It's classic.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
They've got this great heavy metal song on the album called In the Name of the Law, and hearing that live last night, I just went wild. It was amazing. It's one of those songs that I'm like, I wish I wrote that song.
Yeah.
Nice. I remember seeing them maybe a year ago or something, and like the two guitarists are literal time travelers.
Yeah. They're very, very 70s. Like, yeah.
Even but one of them has like a futuristic guitar.
Yeah.
Like an 80s futuristic guitar, so that it's like they've gone forward to 2050 and then got a current guitar and then come back to 2025.
They're both like fans of weird guitars, even by sort of metal standards.
Oh,
so
right.
Like, I think Jake plays a PV that's this star-shaped PV. I've never seen one before seeing him play it. And then Jake plays like an aluminium neck PV as well, which is like a...
Interesting.
Very strange, yeah. But cool.
Yeah. I always wonder about the aluminium neck ones. Like the guy from the bassist in Dr. Colossus has one with an aluminium neck as well. There must be something to it. I don't know what the...
Oh, there's got to be, but I can't see what it is.
Is the fretboards... It doesn't have a wood fretboard. It's like all aluminium.
Metal,
yeah.
Would definitely be lighter. You'd be able to swing it around. Yeah, do the Malmsteen hula hoop thing.
A bit more dangerous though. You want a bit of weight there to.
Not as dangerous. So points deducted. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean like you need the weight in the neck to make sure it rotates properly.
Oh, true.
Otherwise,
so your hula
we got
might
a physics man. We got a physics man in our presence.
Science. So I might only get halfway around and then it's on your back, and then...
Well, yeah, if you don't have the momentum, the body might just drop back down.
Momentum, that's another science word.
I've never heard of it.
Very good.
What have you been listening to, Phil?
I picked up off of the shelf Ed Guy, Theatre of Salvation, 1999 power metal. You're an Ed Guy fan-ish sometimes, Ray, I know.
Yep.
I assume you're speaking about me.
Of course I am.
Ed Guy.
That's why I chose it. No, it's not. God damn it, that's perfect. Ed Guy for an Ed Vaark special.
Yep.
My favourite thing about this album is that on the back of the CD, I've got some info about AFM Records, their contact details, and it says internet.
Yeah.
And if you want more info
on the internet,
you can go to http www.tma2000.com/AFM-records/
Yeah, URLs
They've improved. One of the few things that's improved in the last 20 years.
Nothing else has improved apart from URLs.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say about this album.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving on. And I have to mention an Alice Cooper album every time now.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, it's become a thing. 1992-ish. Hey, Stupid. 91, sorry. This one's great fun. It's one of his sillier ones, would you believe it? But yeah, it's in the vein of Trash, kind of the glam thing.
Yep.
But even more of a budget because he's got ridiculous guest stars like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai and Slash and the guys from Motley Crue or whatever.
What year is this?
91.
91. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't do very well. It was too late, I think. I think 1990 it would have done better.
Yeah, yeah.
91 is like, that's the death knell times.
Actually, when I was a teenager, what kind of got me into heavy music was music DVDs.
Yeah.
And one of the first music DVDs I had was Kiss Symphony, and then the other one was...
It's an interesting starting point.
It is.
Yeah.
I got to say the portion of that DVD that is the best is the part where they don't play with the symphony.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But I also had Alice Cooper live in Montreux or whatever.
Yeah.
And that introduced me to that song, The Ballad of Dwight Fry.
Oh, yeah.
And that is
Awesome.
a powerful song. I love that track.
Awesome. Yeah, Stone Cold classic, man. And great era. Yeah, that's a good intro.
That live at Montreux, there's a whole series of like really good DVDs from there. Like I've got a great Gary Moore one. Like more in that rock space, but whatever happens there is it's pretty cool for a hard rock blues type.
Do they still do them, or I feel like I haven't heard from them in like years.
Yeah,
but
same.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's still
It
happening.
was a pretty iconic thing back in the day.
Yeah.
I'll research it later and
Please do.
you'll find out next episode.
I'll get back to you.
On the Alice Cooper thing, I was listening to one of the ones you recommended on yesterday, actually. Yesterday? No, the day before. The one after Welcome to My Nightmare. What was that?
Goes to Hell. Alice Cooper Goes to Hell.
Yeah. And
How you feeling?
it made me want to listen to Pink Floyd.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So I didn't get all the way through it. It got to a certain song.
Yeah.
And it made me want to listen to Pink Floyd, so I put on Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
And then I tried again
That
later.
Alice Cooper album finally made me appreciate Pink Floyd.
It's amazing how it works.
It's amazing how it works, you know. So, Bob Ezrin, who produced Goes to Hell, produced a lot of Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there was parts of it just like, this sounds like,
yeah.
I guess, the Pink Floyd production. Yeah, like with the vocals and the,
yeah.
I guess, the soundscape behind it.
The pomp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not a huge endorsement for the Alice Cooper album, but I'll stick with it.
Yeah. I
Made me want to listen to something else.
Yeah, like I said last time, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if it's great music. I just don't know anymore. I just love Alice, and it's just like hearing him. So it's very comforting.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if this is good anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and Goes to Hell is definitely one of those albums. I love it, but I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Fair enough.
What's happening?
So Ed, Aardvark, you recently-ish, hasn't been that long, we're in Europe for forever, 6 weeks?
5 weeks.
You're 5 weeks?
Yeah.
And you're back, and you've largely stayed true to your word about not really playing many shows, even though you instantly played like 3.
Well, you keep saying that, but I don't have anything to...
But you do have a show coming up in Sydney.
Yes.
Next month?
Yep.
What date is that?
That is August 16th.
Oh, right.
So...
Bengal Tigers.
Yep. And our friends from Sydney Livewire as well. Great sort of thrash band.
Energetic.
Yeah, very.
High singing, fast riffing.
Yep.
Shirtless drumming.
Shirtless drumming.
Can't put a shirt on George.
No. Couldn't if you tried.
I'm really excited for that. I'm keen to hear this new Bengal Tigers album as well, because they're obviously icons.
Yep.
Local icons. Feel very, very lucky to have been invited onto that show. As you know, Flitcraft have also been invited onto the Melbourne one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are not mistaken. Yeah, no, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And it's great that the Bengals are doing it. Like you say, the new album, Cry Havoc, I believe it's called.
Yep.
Will be coming out in a couple of months. And 25 years between drinks for them, so it's pretty pretty interesting.
It would have been a fair while between that one and the previous one, I would have thought as well then.
I think so. I think it was, they did stuff in the 80s, then it was 99 was the next one.
Yeah.
And then, And 99 was 25 years ago, so
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
So let's all just think about that for a second.
Let's move on.
Cry for a minute and then carry on.
When Y2K was the existential threat, and now AI is the existential threat.
Yeah. Bruce Dickinson and Rob Halford were just like coming back to their bands.
Oh man, yeah. The new album was Brave New World.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that crossed over. Like both of them left around the same time. Both of them rejoined around the same time as
Both
well.
of them did solo albums with Roy Z and
Yeah.
on hand.
That Halford album Resurrection it's got some incredible songs on there, and I would argue it's Halford at his peak of high singing.
Oh, right.
Was sort of around there.
I
Age
couldn't agree
48
more.
or something like
Yeah.
that, whatever he
Yeah.
was.
I couldn't agree more, man. We did
Yeah.
a little feature on that a little while ago, and that's one of my favourite Halford performances. And that
Yeah.
song, Silent Screams,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely outrageous.
Yeah.
Absolutely outrageous. And and that's actually another because that's latter day Halford for us. You know,
Yeah.
it's like kind of
Yeah,
new
totally.
Halford.
Yeah.
25 years ago is
Yeah.
kind of new Halford. Roy Z, and the album sounds fucking huge, man.
Yeah.
Like it just
Yeah.
sounds absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. I'm not really a lyrics man overall, but I've been saying to some friends lately, you know, when the lyrical themes kind of align with the feeling of the song, that's when the lyrics have the most power, I feel. And
Sure.
like,
Yep.
Holy angel, lift me from this burning hell. Resurrection, lift me high. It's so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Man, when the music also, and vice versa, when the music suggests what the song is about and they work in tandem,
yeah.
that's the ultimate.
Totally.
That's the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
So-
100%.
And he's got a higher that he says sings higher.
Yeah.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
It always works.
Come on,
It always works.
Settle down. God. Don't tick too many boxes.
Yeah.
I've got one of those too.
Yeah, well, you got it.
Fire.
Aardvark's Tough Love.
Yeah, so-
feature album.
But yeah, Tough Love, that came out, the end of last year?
That was early last year.
Early last year. Sorry,
March,
it's 2025, isn't it?
Yeah.
End of 20... sorry, start of 2024.
Yeah.
And there was
guess
the
so.
single you had out, a 7-inch before
Yeah.
that. So how you've got to be happy with the response, I assume.
very.
I've seen nothing but positivity around it. So
Yeah, I've seen some negativity.
Okay. Yeah, well,
But no,
always
yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
No, I'm very, very happy. Very fortunate that people have liked it so much and have responded to it. And you know, we've sort of been playing consistently until very recently. Since then, so it's been nice to have a little bit of a break from that, but to work on new material. But I'm really happy with it. Obviously, there are things that, you know, in retrospect, there's a lot of stuff that I would change. But, but
Nothing's ever
That's
finished.
what-
Nothing's ever finished, man.
Absolutely,
You just
yeah.
got to get it out, right?
so we'll work on that stuff for the next album. But, you know,
When you after a gig night and you crash out and your head hits the pillow,
yeah.
right? What song of yours is repeating in your brain and you're like, oh, I wish that song would stop playing in my head? Do you have one?
Not really.
Wonderful.
I feel like
It's good.
I've played these songs so much lately that I don't like any of them. No, they're
Classic.
There are songs I'm still really proud of and that I don't think that I will be able to surpass. Just because, you know, at the time, whatever happened, it just aligned in the right way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it came out well, like Dream Is Nearly Over, for
Yeah.
instance.
Yeah.
Like, it's also just like a product of what we were when we did that. And
Yeah.
I feel like we're quite different in some ways now.
Yeah, for sure.
Still the same vibe and everything, but there has been evolution because it's been 10 years since I wrote those songs.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. So you wrote the songs in isolation initially, right? And then formed the band some years later.
Yeah, yeah.
So how much did the songs change once you started playing with the band? Or did they? Or is it like, did you
they
find things...
did, but I would say on this album, not super significantly.
Yeah.
The drums were all pretty different because I was just using like Logic Drummer, which
Yep.
is crap. But
Yep.
you know, it gives you
A beat.
yeah, exactly, to write to. So,
Yep.
and I still do that now, but I think whereas last time I had a fully written album that I took to the band, and we were still finding our feet as a band as
Yep.
well at the time, so we were sort of focusing on how we were gelling with each other and getting the music right, and not really focusing on the songwriting
Yep.
for this one too much because it was already done. Whereas now I'm taking half-written songs to the band,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
we're
okay.
working on structural things,
Cool.
and
Yeah.
so
And that's going to have a huge impact on how they evolve because, like you say,
Yep.
you're all different people after a year or two of rehearsing and gigging,
yeah.
and that has a remarkable difference on,
Oh,
on
totally.
how songs evolve.
I'm really proud of how the new stuff's coming out. And
Awesome.
I feel like overall it's a huge step up
Yeah.
from the last album, and a big part of that has been like the collaboration with the
Yeah.
others, and
Yep.
you know, getting their
Yeah, props to Sorka and Danny and Dylan. Yeah, what a team you
Yeah.
guys are.
yeah.
And playing so consistently over the last year or year and a half as it's been, it just needs to be applauded. Like,
Oh,
you strike me as the kind of guy that doesn't like praise, but you're just gonna have to deal with
No,
it
I
for a
do.
second. No, I do. Bring it on. Keep going. Awesome. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it just needs to be applauded, man. Playing so consistently, like you're just out there. You're
Oh,
just
thanks,
out there
man.
doing it. It's awesome. It's so
Thanks,
good.
I appreciate it.
Because you're the guy who hates your songs now. you know, like that's the price you pay, but you do it, and you've spread your music to so many folks. And
Yeah. I mean, I shouldn't
Yeah.
say that I hate the songs because, like, I don't. But you know, it's just
We know what you
you,
mean.
you know what I mean.
yeah, we know
and
what you mean. We know what you mean.
Sometimes when you're on stage and the audience is reacting in like powerful ways or whatever, it feels like they're new
Yeah,
to you
yeah.
again. So that's that's a nice
Yeah.
sort of thing about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been exhausting. It's been haven't been in a band since I was in high school, and this is my first band since then.
Yep.
I'm 34 now, so I've been, you know, working full time, trying to go to the gym and like have a healthy life,
Yeah.
and do, you know, go home and write music and
Yeah.
rehearse on the weekends, and
Yeah.
it's way more work than I ever thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
but like very fulfilling. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah, and even if you are taking care of yourself, and even if you're not drinking like a maniac, you're still out until 2 a.m. on a gig night. So like,
Oh,
Yeah.
totally,
like
yeah.
that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
Like even if you're taking care of yourself,
Yeah.
it's still
if you're playing a
epic
gig
work.
on the weekend, it's
Yeah.
your weekend gone.
That's it,
basically. But that's all right. Like it's a very fun thing to, and for, you know, it's a fortunate position to be in, to be able to play
Yeah.
gigs and have people come along and enjoy it.
Yeah,
So
it's a good
totally
good
worth
club
it.
to be in, and a good thing to surround yourself with. And like you're saying, it's when people come to the shows, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like-
exactly.
Makes it way better.
It makes it way better, man.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you play so you play, you know, as we've said, quite a few shows in Melbourne over the last 2 years, but you play quite mixed bills as well.
Yep.
Which I think, and don't take this the wrong way, but like Aardvark are fortunate in the type of heavy metal they are, that they can do that.
Totally.
Like
yeah.
you can fit in with rock bands and
Yep.
that sort of thing, but you're like doing the, you know, sort of the early 80s style heavy metal so authentically that, like, you know, the more extreme bands would be, you know, happy to have you on as well. It's
Yep.
not like you're doing it softly, I suppose.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was that is doing I guess the mixed bills, getting that non-metal crowd, I suppose. I guess that has been really interesting. Or
Yeah, it's honestly, I've been listening to heavy metal almost exclusively since I was like 12.
Yep.
Basically, and none of this is sort of new to me as far as, you know, I went through my elitist phase
Yep.
as a young man where I was like, there is nothing but heavy metal.
Yeah, yeah.
And and then going home listening to Britney Spears secretly. No, I'm kidding. But although there are some good Britney songs. Anyway.
Shout out to Britney.
Didn't like that one, right?
Awesome.
I'm sure Max Martin's an excellent songwriter.
No, but
Ray is gritting his teeth for those at home. Gritting his teeth.
No, I'm kidding, but yeah, I've been listening to heavy metal for such a long time, and it's been such a huge part of my life. And you know, there's, to me, the vibe of heavy metal that I want to pursue is there is a tongue-in-cheek element to it, and there's a camp element to it that's fun. But I do take it very seriously. Like it's not a joke.
Yeah.
And when I'm writing, I'm not trying to emulate. Like I'm never sort of consciously being like, this is a 1982 album.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because that's all I listen to. So it's like this natural filtering through my influences or whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as like playing with the mixed bills and stuff, heavy metal is really important to me, but I believe that heavy metal has the potential to be a commercial genre. Like I think that it does have crossover, and that's based on melody and catchiness and, you know, things like that, which are really important to me. That's what I connect with in music. So playing with these other melodic bands that are not heavy metal but have similar sensibilities, I think it does fit in a certain way. But it's also like heavy metal kind of has everything. Like it's got the melody, it's got the punky side, it's got the aggression. So it can kind of fit anywhere. And I really like playing the mixed bills, like because I like all music, so it's just cool.
And you get different crowds, you get different crossover of crowds, and you reach people that you normally wouldn't, unless, you know, if you were playing strict, you know, single genre kind of bills.
Yeah, I don't think you wouldn't be able to play as many gigs as you were able to play in that first year, I suppose, if you were just playing.
Well, in Melbourne, you know, there's not a huge. First of all, there's almost no classic heavy metal scene. There's like a couple of bands with like Flitcraft and there was Burnout, but they've recently sort of disbanded, I think. And I might be missing. Obviously, there's Bengal Tigers.
I guess there's a bit of power metal, but
there's a bit of power metal, but less extreme metal.
Are you referring to like as opposed to Bengal Tigers? Are you referring to like current bands that are emulating or aspiring to the classic? to the classic period, that kind of thing. Yeah, there is a bit of a scarcity, whereas like in certainly in Europe and UK and the US, but certainly in Scandinavia and Europe. It couldn't be. There's never been more of it. You know, there's never been more of it. But in Australia, it's a pretty. There's still a scarcity of it.
So it is hard, sort of putting together bills. And because personally, I don't really listen to much extreme metal either. So it's just not really my genre. So it's been. I wouldn't even know who to approach. As far as that stuff goes. Like I like seeing it live and stuff, and it's fun. But it's just like. Because I guess the focus of a lot of that metal isn't melody. It's all the other musical stuff that is just as valid, but isn't what like I connect with musically.
You know how you were saying about the tongue-in-cheek thing, but you take it very seriously as well, of course. Isn't that just the what do you call it? The contradiction in heavy metal that totally makes sense. It's the oxymoron that totally makes sense. It's you can't take it seriously, but you have to take it very seriously. Like it's a joke, but also you have to be very serious about how ridiculous it is. Is that? I'm just trying to crystallize that a bit. Like,
it's hard to sort of define, but
I know.
I feel like Judas Priest are the prime example of like, you know, Rob Halford is very cheeky and funny on stage, and he always has been, and theatrical, but you can tell that he's incredibly passionate about the genre and the music.
Absolutely.
Couldn't agree more. Judas
I think
Priest.
if you're not that, it's been
I'm
a while
just saying
since
Judas Priest.
Judas Priest.
No
Judas Priest.
follow-up.
I might
Judas
join
Priest.
you, Judas Priest. Yeah.
I think if you don't take it seriously and you just do the jokey part, it falls away really quickly.
Yeah.
Because there are, don't know if any off the top of my head, but there would be plenty around that have, sort of disappeared almost instantly, or done a little bit, but just being jokey.
Yeah, I feel like
conviction.
I feel like it's sort of the attitude that a lot of people get wrong with heavy metal, is that they approach it with a lot of aggression and trying to be sort of, or like posturing that's like trying to be super masculine or whatever, and some bands are, and it works for them, but it has to come from an authentic place for that to work, and I feel like a lot of people probably do it where it doesn't come from an authentic place, and therefore it kind of fails.
Yeah.
What's your artistic background that's like non-musical? I ask because I know you do a lot of the design work for Aardvark.
Yeah.
And the band has a distinct image and an atmosphere. Like it's like a world. Like
cool,
it's like when you look at Aardvark, either the album art or a flyer, or just go to the Instagram page and you look at the way you present yourself, and it's like it's an aesthetic, right? So my question is, like, what's your background? How did that come to be? How much of that is planned, and how much do you inspired month to month, or like?
Yeah, it's really important to me, the whole visual aspect of the band and the way we present ourselves and everything. I have no real world skills and all creative skills, so
can't pay a bill.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Get lost on the train.
Can make a flyer though.
Can make a flyer. Can make this shit out of a flyer.
I've been lucky enough to have like a really good collaboration with Night Razor, with the band stuff, and she's just an incredible artist who understands the genre of music and understands the visual aesthetic, and we kind of collaborate with ideas, and then she'll put out some artwork and I'll design it around a poster or whatever. But I guess the background, my mum is a fine artist. She studied in London, and then she's a ceramicist. And so I guess I've been around her my whole life, obviously my upbringing, and she has imbued me with her creativity. So I really love design. I really love the visual look of the band. I love putting effort into that stuff. And it means a lot as well. It's like the music is really important, but if people are paying money to come and see a band, I kind of want it to be an experience, not just coming to listen to the songs. So it's important that we dress up in the garb and like try and give a show, which has been difficult for us. As I said, it's my first band, so trying to get more comfortable on stage and like doing more stage moves and stuff like that. It's been pretty challenging, but
that's the extension of the we know it's ridiculous, but we take it very seriously. That's the natural extension of that, right? When you get to stagecraft and presentation, isn't it?
Because you can see bands on stage doing that stuff, and it can be really embarrassing sometimes, and I feel like it's because they're trying to be other people. So in trying to do stagecraft, like you say, and making it authentic, there's an innate vulnerability in that where you feel like people can judge you. So it's a pretty hard thing to do. But I think thankfully in Europe, playing like 17 shows in a row, it really helped for us to get like more comfortable on stage and make it a bit of a bigger show or something.
Nothing helps you conquer something like doing it 17 times in a row.
Exactly.
Because by the 15th time, you're like, well, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
Particularly when it's only in front of strangers.
Yeah,
exactly.
There's no
You're
friendly
never gonna
faces.
see me again.
Well,
But like the creative background, I studied film and was a filmmaker previous to this journey, making short films and music videos for bands, and I might go back to it one day, but for now, like, music is fulfilling that creative urge.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to do a music video for this next album.
Yeah,
which
you
I
got
reckon
to.
I'll
Yeah,
direct.
that you guys will just absolutely crush that, because there's so much to be. The potential is there because you've set up the aesthetic, the world, like I was saying.
Thanks,
man.
man.
You've got this. There's you must have 20 ideas for that already, surely.
Yeah, there's a lot of ideas
that.
floating around, but
yeah,
it's going to be fun. Can't wait.
Yeah.
If anyone needs a music video,
just go to internet.
Turn on your personal computer.
//www. Aardvark, where did the name come from?
Okay, so we're
gonna get to the bottom of this, Ray.
It's aggressive.
Right. It's a bit of a weird one, but
Good.
So my mum, as I said, she was an artist. She studied in London. She's lived all over the world.
Yep.
And for a bit of time, she lived in Africa, and she had a pet aardvark.
Oh my god.
In Africa, and it was a vicious little. It was like a vicious little kind of creature with like. Apparently affectionate, but kind of like a little bit rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And I just thought that it would be. I'm like, that's kind of like a good representation for what we are.
Yeah.
So we called it Aardvark because of that. Which
is excellent. That is a great story.
Yeah, it wasn't just for the double A at the start for sorting purposes in people's...
We're not going to go into that anymore.
See, cynicism over here. Outrageous. I knew it was going to be something amazing and profound. I knew it, Ray over here, on the other hand.
The domesticated version of an African small marsupial or mammal, whatever it is. Wouldn't be a marsupial, I wouldn't think.
You're just seething like, as you're trying to sleep. Those assholes taking that double A.
Smart. There's only so many words.
Well, that's awesome. That's killer. And played in very well to your stage name. Played in very well. That worked out very well. So you have a stage name, which, by the way, that's awesome because no one has stage names anymore.
Thank you.
It's a bit of a shame that that Sorka and Danny and Dylan didn't take on. Are they going to be Vaark?
No, I encouraged Dylan to call himself Armadillo, but he refused.
No, they should all be Vaark. They should all be Dylan Vaark and Danny Vaark and Sorka Vaark. You know, like the Ramones.
It's my thing.
They
can have their own ones.
Yeah.
I remember hearing a sound check before an Aardvark gig, and the rest of the band, the rest of the band was saying, I just need some more Ed's guitar. So yeah, I just need more Ed's guitar. And the sound guy goes, look, who's Ed? Someone needs to tell me who Ed is so I can turn his guitar up. And Ed's like, I'm Ed. It's the only name you need to know.
Perfect.
I'm so sorry, man.
No, that's all right. I promise I'm not like an egomaniac. But
oh man, I had to take you down a peg after all that praise I gave you. I just got to balance it out a bit.
I deserved it. Yeah.
No, just got to balance it out a bit.
I want to go back to when you first started playing live. So the Tote residency, you did 4 Sundays in a row.
Yep.
Not that you would know this, but that was around. Well, I'd basically moved to Melbourne at the very start of August 2 years ago. So the fourth one of those, Phil was like, come along, there's this band Aardvark who's been doing a residency at the Tote Sunday over, come along. And you obviously didn't really know what I was going to be in for. And I saw you at the bar just before you're going on, and you had the leather jacket, the studs. I was like, well, this guy's serious.
Yeah.
And from what you just said before about, taking, being conscious about your on-stage appearance, it's like, this guy was serious. And like, I don't know what he's going to sound like, but he looks like he's serious. It was quite a nice thing for me over that sort of 3, 6, first 3 or 6 months of living in Melbourne, because you were playing quite a lot.
Yeah.
I joke about this, but
And you were at most of them.
yeah.
So,
I was like, well, this is on. I know they're going to be all right, and I get to go to a new bar.
Yeah.
So I did actually go to quite a lot of those shows.
Yeah, you did. Very, very thankful though. It was always good to see you in the audience. I was like, oh, Ray's here. That gives me a bit of confidence on stage.
There you go.
So Aardvark's first tour of Melbourne was kind of like your first tour of
Yeah,
Melbourne.
yeah.
In a way, yeah.
I missed the first 3 totes, but I was there for the 4th.
Outrageous.
That was the best one.
You are,
yeah.
obviously.
I don't know. Number 2 was pretty good. I'm a number 2 fan. So
Okay, sorry.
I'm a number 2 fan, but whatever.
But what was the was that residency just a like, let's give it a crack, let's iron out the creases on stage, or what was the driver?
I think like we had played like 2 or 3 shows before then.
Okay.
Very sporadically, like one show a year and then another one, and we were just rehearsing heaps around that time, trying to get the songs all ironed out, and then we were kind of like, all right, let's start gigging.
Yep.
Let's like try
Let's
and
do
give it
4 in a month.
Yeah, let's try and give it a good shot. And someone at the Tote had seen us at, I can't really remember the chronological order, but I think that we played with Bat Piss, like the local band before the residency, and someone from the Tote saw us there and asked us to do the residency, and we were like, that's a great opportunity. And it feels to us like the Tote residency was the start of Aardvark, like
Okay.
because we were just having fun in rehearsal rooms before then pretty much, and it was just like a fun little thing, but the Tote residency kind of lit the fire of let's take this a bit seriously and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, because you started, the first 3 were in the front bar, and then eventually the following was growing, so you got promoted to the
it was,
that's right. Yeah, the last one was on the main stage.
it was a pretty like wild little exponential kind of increase, because the first one I think there was like it wasn't bad, but it was like there was 15, 20 people or something.
That's quite a lot for the front bar.
Yeah, it was good. And then the next one there was like 40, and then the one after that it was packed in there.
Okay, right.
And then they were like, let's move you to the big room, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Nice to reminisce on, because no one comes anymore.
So I tasked you with picking 3 albums,
Yeah.
and I didn't really specify a great deal about it, but 3 important albums to you.
Yep.
I've written down what I think they might be, or, I copped out a little bit with some generality around it. Generality? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us with your first one. I'll check my score afterwards.
All right.
Hang on. No,
It's written down.
All right, it's written down.
Yeah.
So we can't pull one of these ones. Oh, yeah, that's
Okay,
what I was going to guess.
Yeah, I definitely picked that.
All right.
All right. So this was a hellish experience, by the way.
You're welcome.
Right.
There are so many albums that I could have chosen,
I
but
love it. Got the records here. Got the props.
I've got show and tell.
Excellent.
So if I can untangle this goddamn bag. All right. Number 1. Accept.
I was gonna say.
I
didn't write it down though.
So we got Accept, Metal Heart, which
Nice.
I didn't put on my list, but it was like there was 2 that I was considering, and I was like, I went the other one, not Accept.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
This I was gonna really anything from Restless and Wild up to Russian Roulette, and including Russian Roulette, could have been chosen for me. Like, I am a huge Accept fan. I was gonna bring my Russian Roulette copy in because it's signed by Udo and Peter Boltes. But I didn't. And the reason why is because this album, for me, has one of the best heavy metal songs ever on it, and it's Screaming for a Love Bite. I love that song. I think it's super commercial, but like very emotionally hard hitting.
Yep.
And kind of funnily hard hitting, considering it's literally about getting a love bite.
Yeah.
So
really good at subtlety, except.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is peak, man. This is peak heavy metal. I probably prefer this over Balls to the Wall, to be honest.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, this is.
I mean, Balls to the Wall is amazing as well, but
of course, yeah.
But
this is outrageous, man.
Also one of the best album covers of all time.
I assume you saw Udo. Was it 2023?
I did.
It's an actual metal heart.
It is, yeah.
As I said, subtlety.
Yeah.
My brother, who's the reason that I'm into heavy metal.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, thanks,
Ed.
James.
Cheers.
He's in a jazz fusion band,
of course.
now, but
naturally.
But he's been a huge part of Aardvark as well. He's probably the major person I go to with when I'm sort of showing him song ideas, and I'm like, I'm not really sure about this. What do you think? And he always gives good advice. So he's
just more jazz fusion breakdowns, or
he is kind of instrumental in Aardvark in a funny way. But I did go, and my brother bought me the meet and greet thing, so I got to meet, and it was cool that Peter Boltes was on with Udo for that tour.
Yep.
Because these, other than Wolf Hoffman, they're the two primary writers of Accept, so it was really cool meeting them, and I had a little fanboy moment because I made them all laugh, and I was like, I'm a step above everyone else here.
Yeah.
It was very cool, and it didn't let me down, that show. Like, I think, honestly, they had the digital modeling amps, obviously, and they're tuned down a little bit for Udo's voice. He's an older man now, so understandably. But he still sounded great. When they were playing some of the faster songs, it sounded a bit muddy and washed out. Like, you couldn't hear the definition in the chugging on the guitars in like Fast as a Shark and stuff. But it was an incredible show.
The energy of the gig, and you're hearing those staggering songs one after the other. It's just like,
it was amazing.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah. So he played a full set where they played Balls to the Wall in its entirety recently at Rockoplast, I think. And there's a filmed thing up there. And his voice does struggle a little bit, but when he does the deep cuts off that album, he's like on.
Yeah,
and it's like, it blew my mind watching that. Yeah.
So the meeting
Guardian of the Night and...
what's the Head Over Heels?
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Wild. Fight It Back. Epic songs.
Maybe that's what I meant. Fight It Back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're a tall guy.
Ed guy.
At the meet and greet, what's the situation? Are you both standing on? Was Udo standing?
He was standing. He was standing next to me, but some might believe that he was sitting.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he's quite.
Where did? Is he like just above the waist on you? Because he's not a tall.
He's a short guy, but has a very powerful presence.
Yeah,
being around him.
Yeah.
So
I saw Roy's Tattoo the other week, and Angry Anderson, also not the tallest guy in the world, but the bass player in Roy's Tattoo is a giant, and just like seeing them next to each other, it's just like Gulliver's Travels type situation. That's what, when you said you went to the meet and greet, I'm like, whoa, that must be.
There's a photo on my Instagram of us all together, so you can see it for yourself at some point. Yeah.
Can I just say, just so everyone knows that I'm a step above here, I had questions and it's written down, so you can check this later, Ray.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, what are the main bands, metal and non-metal, that Aardvark aspire to? I get Accept vibes. I feel like Aardvark exists between Point of Entry and Screaming for Vengeance. Obviously Priest albums, but like Accept vibes and then between there. So for you to rip out Metal Heart there just makes total sense.
Yeah. I'm a massive Accept fan.
Makes total sense.
So I wasn't sure how metal I had to go, and I was umming and ahhing between Tank, Honor and Blood and this, but I chose this.
Oh,
Thin Lizzy, Chinatown.
Excellent.
Thin Lizzy, Chinatown.
Thin Lizzy are one of my favourite bands, for obvious reasons, I guess. But I think this is...
Double guitars.
Yeah, because they should be.
Because it's correct.
Also, the frontman is the coolest person of all time.
Isn't he just?
Yeah.
But he has no right, like on paper, he breaks a lot of the cool frontman rules by, but just is instantly even cooler for it.
Yeah.
Incredibly charismatic presence.
Yeah.
This album is like a perfect album for me, and a lot of people don't like it, which I just don't understand. But
yeah, it's not universally loved, is it?
No. But I just think that it's like a melodic masterpiece from top to bottom, pretty much.
Yeah. Is Genocide on that?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. Killing of the Buffalo.
Yeah, indeed.
It's there are
Classic Irish song.
Yeah.
There are heaps of like I said, Thin Lizzy are one of my favorite bands, and they've got so many incredible albums that are as good as this, but this one just...
I've seen you do a Thin Lizzy cover at least once.
It's the only cover we've ever done.
Okay,
is that Don't Believe a Word. Yeah.
Nice.
I'll edit that down so it sounded like you knew.
Yeah. Yeah, you certainly didn't help me, did you?
That's why I watch you squirm.
I remembered that you did it. I just don't remember everything about it.
Excellent.
It was very forgettable.
No, because it was at the Gasso that you did it.
Yeah.
And then the next time I saw you would have been Steel Assassins afterwards.
Yep.
And I remember my mate Jackson was there, and he's a big Thin Lizzy fan. And I think it was getting towards the end, and you didn't have the lights on you for that set.
Yeah.
Because you upset the lights guy.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
I guess we weren't sure if it was over or not, because the lights were down still. I'm like, they did a Thin Lizzy song to finish last week, so I reckon they'll do that again. But you didn't.
Yeah.
He was disappointed. He liked the set, but he was disappointed about the lack of Thin Lizzy after being promised it.
That was a rough show. I don't know what happened, but it was just like, it was a great environment, and I really liked being there, but really good show for everyone. But for whatever reason, it just did not feel on that night. Yeah.
Because you were playing in the dark.
At my own request.
Yeah. How many albums did Thin Lizzy have in the end? They had a lot.
Oh, they've got a lot, yeah.
It's 12-ish.
For obviously ended by 86.
84, I think, was the last time. I think 84 is Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah, okay.
To my recollection, 83, 84.
It's a busy, basically, 12 years for 12 albums.
Yeah.
And I think
a lot of lineup changes too.
I think Johnny the Fox and Jailbreak came out in the same year.
Yeah.
They both came out in 75, which is insane.
Crazy, isn't it? Yeah.
This is wild. Wild to think. So were you going to guess that, Ray? Or
No.
None for none.
None from none. Well, none from two. Sorry.
I reckon the next one you might.
Okay.
You might guess. Are we ready for it?
Actually, before we do that, I want to mention Phil Lynnett's he's singing and playing bass, which is generally a difficult thing to do anyway. Yeah. But he's also singing in a completely random way to how every other part of the song is happening.
Yeah. It's like this weird syncopation sort of thing that whenever I have to, Fire, for instance, our song Fire, it's got a straight rhythm that I'm playing on the guitar, but the vocals are syncopated, and it's very difficult for me to play and sing that song at the same time. So I don't know how he does it.
It's like he kind of wanders in and out, but and that's why it adds to the poetic flair to a lot of his lyrics. So cool is a word that's thrown around, and it's overused, right? But he truly is, and his delivery is just cool. And the essence of it. Yeah.
Must have been really hard for the other guys to do backing vocals to him.
It's just a nightmare, man.
Although John Sykes does a really good Phil Lynott impression.
Oh, okay, right.
There was a period after Phil died where John Sykes took over Thin Lizzy and was singing and playing.
Okay.
And some of it's on YouTube, and it's pretty good. Like he does a good job.
Yeah, right.
I think those guys were real good friends. I think John Sykes did a solo album with Phil Lynott as well. No, Phil Lynott did a solo. Anyway, it was something like that.
Yeah, frequent collaborators in and out of Thin Lizzy.
Yep.
And then was it 2010 or something, a version of Thin Lizzy was recreated.
Black Star Riders?
Yeah. I think they originally played as Thin Lizzy and then decided to make new music, so then they rebranded to to Black Star Riders, and it's just like, I mean, it's okay, but to me, it sounds like a bunch of people trying to be Thin Lizzy rather than, you know, it doesn't.
I mean, I think Scott Gorham is like an important part of Thin Lizzy, but without Phil, I just don't think you can do it really, because he's so unique.
Yeah.
There is no one who can sort of replicate that accurately.
Yeah.
Anyway, album number 3.
There
Yes. Huh?
you go. Yeah.
This guy.
I mean, honestly, it was between this and Defenders of the Faith for me.
Judas Priest, Scream of
could go either
Vengeance is
way.
what we're looking at.
So
But-
I might. You guys can decide whether I get points for this. I've got Priest, British Steel, or earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think everything.
Definitely get a point.
Yeah, I think you get a point. Everything from Sad Wings of Destiny to Painkiller, and including Painkiller, I think is amazing. Even Turbo and Ram It Down.
Yeah.
They have some stinkers on those albums, but the standout songs are incredible on both of them. And Ram It Down, in my opinion, has the best guitar solo that they've ever done.
Yeah.
But the song Ram It Down, I mean. But
yeah. But Screaming for Vengeance.
Screaming for Vengeance, I think, is their best written album.
Yeah.
For heavy metal style stuff. I guess you could argue like Sad Wings of Destiny, really, but this for me is my...
It's definition stuff, isn't it? Like, you know, Screaming for Vengeance is really like Metal Heart is peak heavy metal. It's like, it's just the right crossover between technicality, catchy pop, glisten, you know, but still hard-edged, presented the right way, performed the right way. Like everything about it is
one of the best album covers.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. It's in motion, you know?
Yeah.
Like you feel the motion of the music when you're looking at it.
And I think as far as inspiration goes, like the first album we did, Tough Love, was very sort of, I think, sound-wise kind of came out to be something that was new wave of British heavy metal inspired, like a kind of 1981, 1982 era metal album. And I think our next one is a little bit more 1984, 1985.
Oh, yeah, cool.
If you know what I mean. So,
yeah, awesome. Yeah.
It's a bit more commercial, a bit more melodic.
I think that sometimes that you have a chorus effect on a lot of your guitar tones, especially your lead.
Always, yeah.
And I was just wondering if that was going to continue into the second album, and you
Certainly
answered my question.
Yeah.
It says the second one now.
Excellent.
Yeah, Screaming for Vengeance. I actually had that on Friday night. I was listening to that, I think.
Yeah.
In recent times.
Yeah.
But it's the classic, the song Screaming for Vengeance, the side B opener.
Yep.
Hellion and Electric Eye to open the...
Iconic songs, but even like Fever and Take These Chains Off, and like it's just like it has no bad moments on that album.
It's a masterclass, man.
Yeah.
You know, Devil's Child.
Ugh.
That I love in Bloodstone, the free-form guitar intro to that song that doesn't return anywhere else in the song. It's just like this free-form intro.
I really like when there's
it.
when there's like an intro that just never comes back.
Yeah.
I like when songs do that. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Also appreciate how grammatically correct he is when he says, "Take these chains, take them off of my heart."
Yeah.
Thanks, Rob.
Yeah.
There's the minutiae that we know and love. Yeah.
Gotta get
Sometimes invents words, sometimes...
invents words, but he also respects the grammar.
Yeah.
Well,
You know?
what's like You've Got Another Thing Coming. Apparently they coined that phrase, and before that it was You've Got Another Think Coming. That's the original way that look it up, because he said it in his book, Rob Halford, and I was like, that can't be true. And I looked it up, and it was right.
It cannot be true.
Yeah, the saying is You've Got Another Think Coming.
Well, they've made it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Should be another thought coming. Rob must have been, that's not grammatically correct.
Yeah.
They must mean thing.
Proceeds to say Off of My Heart.
That same album. Thank you. thanks so much for joining us today, Ed. I hope you've had a good time.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thank you for having me.
If I can bother you just for a couple more minutes, I've just got a lightning round here. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna,
okay.
You don't have
Let's
a
do it.
choice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I wanted to sound like you had a choice,
Yeah.
but
No choice.
but you don't. Well, as the title suggests, it's a lightning round. I'm just going to ask you some questions. Don't overthink it. And we're
All
not
right.
going to hold you to these answers later on.
Yeah,
They're just
please.
favourites, etc.
All right.
Just I want to know what comes to mind.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Favourite vocalist?
Rob Halford.
Correct.
Favourite drummer?
Cozy Powell.
Nice.
Mm.
Favourite lead guitar player?
Glenn Tipton.
Nice. Favourite rhythm guitar player?
I don't like rhythm guitar players.
Excellent. Excellent answer.
Unnecessary rhythm.
Excellent. Next question. Spell the word rhythm.
Not two R's. That was an AH and then anyway.
You can start fresh now.
RHYTHM.
Nice.
Correct.
Correct. This is correct. Favourite bass player?
Why would you do that to me?
I told you the hard questions were coming, man.
Favorite bass player? Oh, that's a hard one. Bass is a very important instrument to me. Does it have to be one?
Yeah.
Yes, it can.
Oh, God,
It can only
okay.
be one. There can be only one. And you've got 3 more seconds before this isn't lightning anymore.
Peter Boltest then.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favourite action movie?
Oh. Terminator 2.
Correct. Spell the word movie.
MOVIE.
Correct.
No, MOVY.
You've got another think. Favorite Black Sabbath vocalist.
Dio.
Nice.
Mm.
Favorite Judas Priest song.
Oh. The Sentinel.
Yeah, nice. Favorite ABBA song.
Voulez-vous. What is it?
Wonderful. Opeth. Yes or no?
No.
Spell the word effervescent. The word is
Oh my god.
effervescent.
EFFERVESCENT.
Correct.
Yeah, nice.
Well done, Ed. You've been a very welcome guest
I
today.
feel like I
and
did that pretty well.
Yeah, you smashed it, man. So, of all the guests we've done the lightning round with, you are the only and the best. So,
Highest score all round.
yeah.
That's all I need. That's all I need. No, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been great fun.
Very welcome, man. You're very welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes. Thanks a lot. And we'll be back soon with something else. I assume.
I can promise you that. It'll
Yeah.
be something else.
Thanks a lot, everyone.
Cheers.